Charles, I don't really know anything about the constant gardener, what it was that he was gardening, why it required such consistency, but today we're talking about the Incontinent, what is it?
Gardener.
The Incontinent gardener, yeah.
And actually, that reminds me that last week we didn't even mention the poster.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, we were
scary reality. That's
all
right.
the excitement of being reunited after so many weeks and months apart. But yeah, I mean, this guy in time, the resident, will be evaluated by historians as just a worse loser than Chauncey Gardner in being there. I mean, he was out apparently. First of all, this is the final push. When Trump was running in 2016, he would amp up the number of rallies that he would have per day. You know, he used to have just one a day or one a week, and then by the end of it, he's doing like 10 a day. Biden is out. Yesterday, he was in Florida, and he starts trash talking against DeSantis.
Yeah.
He says he's not a man of integrity, and starts
Wow.
you know, like let's think about that.
Should we roll around a bit?
As you wish. Yeah, I mean, let's think about what DeSantis has just gone through. He did a fantastic job.
The hurricane,
with
right?
the hurricane, but forget about that. His wife is recovering from breast cancer,
Right.
and having had a new child. You know, they're relatively young people. I mean, they're 40s. I mean, the wife anyway. And you're going to trash talk him in his home state, in a state where Charlie Crist has as much chance winning against DeSantis as I do, entering, going in to be the relief pitcher in the last game of the World Series.
When are you starting in that position?
Tonight, actually. Whatever the
Excellent.
next game is, I got to check. We can't go on too long. I got to get to the ball field.
Hopefully you're better than Fauci.
Well, yeah, I mean, but the point is that to go to Florida, which is, you know, you're not going to win anything in Florida. And then apparently there was this picture of a rally in Hallandale, Florida, with Debbie Wasserwoman Schultz saying, "Come on now, we got to liven things up."
Wake up, she
they're like,
said.
and they're like 6 people in the audience for this thing for the President of the United States. And, you know, who is managing this stuff?
Somebody's there like, I was told there was going to be cake.
Right, but I mean, you know, when you're dealing as, let's say, the chief of staff to somebody in a position of great power, the assumption is that there are a lot of supplicants who would like to have time with your boss. And you're going to say, okay, I think the best idea for us to do now is to go to Hallandale, Florida, and give a shit what Debbie Wasserwoman
Right, does
Schultz has to
anybody
say
like her?
about anything. You know, I mean, it's just, animals don't talk. So how can you be their voice?
What, that girl was wearing an ASPCA
But it
thing?
said, we are their voice if they don't speak.
She was pretty. I would have spoken to her. Charles, it seems like there's a lot less craziness going on in the park, but yet we still see lots of weed sales going on.
Well, we're only into this for about 2 minutes, so, you know, give it time. Give
But
it a
it's
full
less of
hour.
a crowd, right? I mean, particularly given how nice it is
People
today.
are in school, right? Your old alma mater. You remember what it was like, Jason, November 2nd? You hit the books. You're getting ready for finals. You're writing your book reports.
Nah.
You're buying weed.
Well, it was mostly just making movies when I was in college
Right.
and crapping around on the computer.
But this actually, when I was a little kid, which of course some of my earliest memories are in this park, when I was in elementary school at Grace Church School and starting in 2nd grade, we got out from memory around 3 o'clock, 3:20. And then you'd walk, Grace Church School's over that way and my home's that way, so the park's on the way. And we would stop in the park and
It's your
play
stomping
around.
ground.
Well, we would play around in that place over there, and you know, you just get into a routine. It's unseasonably warm.
It is.
Today for November 2nd. And you got a lot of young youths here without a care in the world. You got the beautiful arch there. We're walking on the opposite of hallowed ground. People were buried on this spot for
Yeah,
quite
I just
a while.
learned about that a little while ago.
Should we go up there and around? Or?
Sure.
This is a burial ground, a potter's field.
Over
actually.
here?
The whole thing.
Wow.
And then it became the park that it is. And now what happens is NYU is so rich, as you may know. It's
They
got a
bought
big,
it, right?
Well, they didn't buy the park, but they own so much real estate around here that, you know, there are only so many brownstones, there's only so many square feet, and NYU is constantly adding to its footprint. thereby shrinking the amount that the private sector can own, thereby in theory raising the value
prices.
of everything right around the park.
Is it value or just the price?
Well, yeah, good question. We need to, I didn't realize that you had a BA or a BS in philosophy.
And also an arbitrageur, according to you.
Exactly.
That made like $200 at that.
At which?
Arbitrage.
There you go.
That's big money, Charles.
It can be. It can also be big
200
losses.
bucks?
You could be big losses
No, 200
if you get it
bucks is
wrong.
fine.
In theory, arbitrage, you're not supposed to lose money, but
I didn't even know that that's what it was until you told me. I just sort of, you know. But there's a ton of wild stuff going on. We had,
let's focus for a second on the campaign and bad
Yeah.
choices. I mean, so here you are, you're sitting in a, as my Finnish friend would say, a scenario where, forget what the public knows about the election polls, the real polls that the political pros have show the Democrats, you know, it's not even a shit show. It's a combination of shit, dead body parts, aliens landing. You know, it's just a horror show after November 8th, assuming that there aren't, you know, effective shenanigans that steal the result away
what
from...
kind of shenanigans?
Effective
Oh.
shenanigans that cause the will of the people not to be respected on November 8th. But the internal polls will show that. And, you know, look, as we walk around, here, Washington Square Park, particularly with all the students involved, have you seen a single button saying Kathy Hochul, you know,
certainly
or
not.
Democrat, or you're not going to see any of that around here. And as a guess, you know, all of the wise asses, and there are not many on CNN and the left-wing media, who think they know what's going to happen, they're counting on students to vote. And students aren't going to vote. The youth is not going to vote.
Too busy being stoned and doing crime.
Well, how could you get excited about, you know, let's make sure the Biden team has the mandate or the person date they deserve.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you
Get a biologist involved.
right. I mean, you got this guy. He's down in Florida now. Then yesterday in Florida, he said he made multiple bad errors in his speech. I mean, one was that, you know, this war in Iraq has all kinds of negative. I mean, Iraq, I brought that up because that's where my son died.
Oh,
That's
boy.
not true.
He's talking about Ukraine?
He's talking about Ukraine, but his son did not die in Iraq.
I know.
You know, and then he goes, he cannot stop lying, this bozo. And it's just clear and then he's going to go, the geniuses who are behind this Biden-Harris shit show have now, in this vital moment when people are making their final decisions about the election, they say, what we're going to do is we're going to have President Joe Biden, we're going to have Dumpster Fire, you know, Obama, join him and the resident down in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, to try to prop up Fetterneck. Who's just hopeless.
Well, somebody published a thing that was like Fetterman 59%, Oz 41%.
That's just rubbish.
Well, and then someone was like, how could this possibly be? And Cat Turd was like, it's called lying.
Cat Turd, I think, pretty funny.
Cat Turd 2.
I don't know who Cat Turd or Cat Turd 2 is, but
Did Cat Turd get doxxed by Lorenz Taylor? Oh no, that was Libs of TikTok.
Libs of TikTok, yeah, I don't think. This poor guy, you see him in
Now,
Union Square Park in the morning.
What do we got, a lobsterman here?
No.
What is all that crap?
They're boxing up leaves. You know, this is what when I was very young and I had my big property and, you know, I had people trying to help me, you quickly realize that, you know, if you've got a job like, I don't know what this is, but, you know, these are, you can see all these leaves everywhere, right? And you've got a human being picking leaves up and putting them in a plastic bag.
Making it non-biodegradable.
Well, this is a make-work project, right? You would have a machine to vacuum this stuff up. You wouldn't have human beings, you know, sitting here on their cell phones, talking to one another. Let's put one. You know, how many bags of leaves do you think there are?
Oh, a million.
Around here, right? I mean, how
But
many
also,
bags
where
would
are
you
they
need?
going to put them? This is biological
had
material that's now sealed in plastic.
They had two big trucks waiting here most of the day. In the morning I'm here, in the afternoon I was waiting for you. Huge trucks, two gasoline-powered trucks, empty, And the people, this is the work product of today. You got what 6 bags. Great job, guys, 6 bags. At this rate, we'll get the job done before the snow comes in January. It's ridiculous. But anyway, back on Biden. So here he is making a fool out of himself, which is not a hard project for Joe Biden. No manufacturing steps involved. You make a fool out of himself.
Ready-made. He's like a freeze-dried fool. Just add water.
And, he's going to give a speech tonight, apparently a, quote, impromptu speech, decrying the Paul Pelosi thing as an example of...
Will he deliver it from the bridge of the Death Star?
I don't know. Probably the lady
wearing a
in
Baphomet costume?
The lady in red, talking about everything that's so negative. And
where should we go here?
Well, you want to go and look at the
Sure.
chess areas?
Oh, yeah.
And so he's going to give this speech, and that idiot Tim Ryan, I don't know if you saw the town hall, but Ryan's running against J.D. Vance in Ohio for Senate, and the town hall that was done by Fox, interestingly, had very limited commercials because it was sponsored by Tunnels to Tower Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I question how a charity can justify spending the amount of money that would be needed to spend.
A lot of commercials,
right,
yeah.
to sponsor a political debate in Ohio. I mean, how does something that has to do with New York City, Tunnels to Tower, the foundation,
but 9/11's kind of national, isn't it?
I know, but it's just a little bit odd. Oh, yeah, more bags. Here we go. So, this, by the way, it used to be just a little sandbox, but this is the place where I found a heroin needle when I was a little kid that my littlest brother was about to put in his mouth.
Wow, isn't that always the way? You're looking for a crack pipe and there's nothing but heroin needles around.
I know. Here's another bag. And so and look at all these leaves, right? I mean, there's probably easily, I'm no expert on this.
Hundreds of bags.
Yeah, thousands of bags.
Maybe.
Right? And then what do you do with them all?
But, I mean, what's the point?
There's another bag, it's like...
Don't we want to make mulch or something out of leaves? Like, isn't there a gardener's
Again,
will know there's some purpose?
The inmates are running the asylum, and you're just creating jobs. It's like, why don't you take this shovel over here? We've got this team over here is going to dig the hole, and the other team is going to push the dirt back into the hole, and then once you come dig the hole up again, push it back in. We have cleaned out, there should be, and normally is, a cop in here.
So they have, after 2 years, finally at least done something to improve the situation from what it was.
Well, temporarily, but you'll see the drug dealers are in the center now.
But this is also called setting the bar very low. It's like we want murder and, extremely dangerous and illegal drugs out of the park. But as far as like assault, riding bicycles, doing other things that you're not allowed to do.
Stuff that just went in there.
They don't care.
Throwing a bottle. We're playing catch with a bottle. Leave them alone.
I'm not going to say anything.
That?
This is welcome to the future.
That's right. Now let's not engage with these two guys.
I'm not going to engage with anybody.
And then the 4 or 5 guys sitting down. Normally there's a cop here, but now not so much. And these are the drug dealers, the guy in the center and the guy on the left. And then, and we just want to walk at high speed through here, Jason.
Yeah, I'm with you. One of the best things for our safety is that when people around us observe that this camera can see them, it seems to give them pause with regard to attacking, because I think that as misguided and seemingly stupid as a lot of the young people we see are, they are aware of live streams and they are aware of jail, and they don't want to go there.
Yeah, but for some of them, going to jail is an upgrade. At least you get food.
Well, maybe.
This generally is where some of the drug dealers hang out, and then maybe the 2 guys here are candidates. And then up ahead we have the chess impresarios.
Boy, this fence is kind of wrecked.
Yeah, it does appear to be
long and temporarily closed. So, Joe Biden's given this speech. Isn't he going to try to convince people that
I started to
MAGA attacked Paul Pelosi?
Yeah, they had that guy Ryan was on last night saying that he's on the subcommittee that oversees the Capitol Policing. He knows that 180 or whatever the number was Capitol policemen were hit by pipes, and one of the policemen was killed. And that's just not true.
Of course not.
Nobody was killed.
Except for Ashley Babbitt and the guy who
Right.
died the next day from some kind of thing he inhaled or something. What were they saying about it?
I don't know, but the point is, it's just rubbish argument, and shame on Brett and shame on Marcia McCallum for not letting that one be corrected. But this idiot Tim Ryan was he knew he was in front of a Fox audience, so he was talking like a Republican. He's for fracking, he's for natural gas, he's for all this bullshit. I hear him on Fox say that. And then later last night, I'm flipping channels and I see him on MSNBC saying, not no fracking, but hard left bullshit.
Huh.
Here's the little dog run up ahead. This morning, I was walking by. These are the restrooms in the park administrative complex. I poked my head into the restroom, and there's a guy with his pants down next to the sink.
Uh-huh.
And I quickly exeunt stage left.
Yeah, it's not really ideal facilities here, to tell you the
Well,
truth.
you got the administrative bosses right next door. You would think they could keep adjacent territory under control, but no, they can't do that. This is Strider here.
So what's going on with this office? You all right,
Right
Charles?
here, yeah.
I was just standing in there texting, of course. Gaining
Priority.
weight.
So it's kind of, right before the fall, it's kind of quiet.
Aren't we in fall?
You know what I mean? Before the fall of Rome.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I mean, we're falling. Yeah, we're in it.
We got vandals everywhere.
Yeah.
Which way do you want to go?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I haven't, there's so many areas I haven't
Why
walked
don't we
around.
go down
in for-
this
Sure.
way?
I haven't walked around for a while, so, it's good for people to kind of check out what's going on, see what's developing.
You want to go down the Monty Street or to
Sure,
the next
whatever you
one
want to
down?
do. I don't mind. It seems to me, Charles, just back on this Pelosi thing for a second, they just are, right back
Actually, let's
onto
go-
the script of
I want to go
this
in
guy
and get
was MAGA,
right.
and
I want to get some Hall's lozenges.
oh yeah, sure. But they're saying, that he was going to kneecap her, and they're not allowing, even though it's state court, they wouldn't allow cameras into the courtroom.
And you said, we were talking yesterday, and you said he agreed that he confessed. That's not what I saw
Well,
this
that's
morning.
what I saw in
Yeah, I
the
know,
news.
but
that
they've
they said
changed
he
it now that
confessed.
he's pleading not guilty.
Well, because I think he's pleading not guilty by reason of insanity, is what that is.
Pelosi? Nancy's pleading that? Or
David,
is Biden going to plead that today and
Yeah.
gives his talk? I'm not guilty by
Pappy.
reason of insanity. Joe, that's not what we're talking about. What do you mean? I'm the president.
but I mean, that was my understanding. And then they had his lawyer who basically knew less. I mean, he's like, I don't know anything. I just read the news. Haven't seen the guy or the police report or whatever. But I mean, we now have several high-resolution pictures online of the Pelosi house, and you can see there are cameras pointing in every direction. And this morning they've come out and said, oh, U.S. Capitol Police video cameras recorded the break-in, but nobody was paying attention.
Of course not. Why would you do that? You're being paid.
Well, but the other point is, why didn't they bring this footage out the moment anyone had any question and was sort of saying like, I don't know, it seems like he was in his underwear, not in his underwear, let the guy in, didn't let the guy in. But the questions that remain, if the Capitol Police are charged with guarding the house to the extent that they've got video cameras on it, seems like they'd have an alarm system, and so why didn't that go off when this guy smashed the window with the hammer?
Right.
Why do they keep referring to a wellness check? My understanding is a wellness check is you call and say, hey, my elder parent lives in another state and I haven't been able to reach them by telephone for 2 days. Could you please send someone by the house to make sure they're okay? Not 2:30 in the morning, someone just broke in with a hammer. That's a burglary call.
But where does the wellness check emanate from? If it's from the
Right.
East Coast, that's 5:30 in the
called?
morning. Who's up? Nancy Pelosi
Right.
was not up at 5:30 in the morning.
And
I can
how would
assure
she
you.
know?
Well, she wasn't up at 5:30. Let's go here.
What they should have said is the alarm went off and the police responded to that, but obviously there's some reason why they couldn't.
Right.
So
I'm
going
going to just jump in here and I'll
Okay,
leave you on
sure.
the street for a second.
So now we'll be able to listen to Charles's transaction inside the deli as he conducts it. Let's see if there's any comments
Here we
to
go.
look at or
Hi.
read.
You have
Thanks
the,
for tuning
the
in,
blue
everyone.
halls
Oh
or
yeah,
just
don't
not?
forget, you can sponsor the
Oh.
show by going to
How much is
subscribestar.com
it?
/crowdsource the truth and patreon.crowdsource.
Sorry, I
Patreon.com
want this
/crowdsource the truth. A lot of people are happy about the incident that occurred last night. I am going to speak about that. I'm going to do a counter lawfare report to go into some details. People who haven't seen
Thanks
the
so
footage
much.
of me being attacked on the street, I've posted it on Subscribestar and Patreon for a number of reasons, not the least of which is that the sponsors who make this show possible, I appreciate tremendously and consider a part of the inner circle of Crowdsource the Truth. How's the lozenges, Charles?
Good. I just I had
Beef flavor?
one of the reasons I skipped out last Wednesday was that I had a bad sore throat.
I'm not sure if I told people that, so that's good that you told me.
Yeah, and so I mean I get it typically almost every year around this time I get a sore throat / cold, and I know I know how they've worked in the past. You know, I get the scratch in my throat. I know it's coming. And I know I'm going to get to a place where do I get a fever, do I not get a fever? If I get a fever, I take it one way. If don't, I got to take it a different way. But anyway,
Is this the Wachtell Lipton School of Law?
It is the Wachtell Lipton.
I think it is the Lipton something.
No, well, that's over there, I think. This is the this
Right.
is D'Agostino's.
Little
You get your
man
groceries
D'Agostino.
over here.
Yeah. Lipton Hall, you're right. I don't
It's
know.
the next one up. It's like a
Yeah, that's
faculty
where
lounge
the
or something.
Andrew McCabe thing was, I think.
And this is where my mother's pipe organ was in this building. She's right.
Charles, did we ever discuss when I went to that Andrew McCabe, like, it was McCabe and Weissman telling everybody how they should, change the FISA court, I guess, to make it easier for them to lie to it or whatever they wanted to do?
Yes, but we did. But can we just stay on the election
sure.
though and let it hammer that home?
But
a
I
little
never
bit?
can tell when you're done talking about something because you
Sorry.
go into the deli.
No, I had to get the
Okay, so what are we talking
Forgive
about?
me. So we have Biden's going to give this ridiculous speech, which nobody's going to give a shit about, and then he's going to go to Philadelphia with Obama, and generally Obama has been on the one hand pretty cautious about his use of time and the brand and all that stuff. But if we think about it, let's think about the number of idiots that Obama has gotten behind. And what happened? He was all behind Brexit. He went actually, as President of the United States, in the middle of the Brexit.
I thought he said, don't do it.
He went, I'm saying he was against it. And he was, as the sitting President of the United States, he interfered in a referendum in the UK, specifically stating on British soil that if you vote for this, you will go to the back of the line in any trade talk, bilateral trade talk with the United States. I mean, and nobody said, wait a minute, that's election
Interfering
interference.
with
Right? He was all in for Hillary Clinton in 2016. How'd that work? He was all in for Joe Biden, thanks so much. And Herschel Walker, who I heard him speak episodically, but then he gave this speech, 4 or 5 minute speech. It was epic.
Herschel Walker?
Yeah,
What did he say?
dissing Obama. When Obama said, Obama said something like, in his typical contrived straw man argument, if you're at the airport,
Yeah, you don't want Herschel Walker
and
to
somebody
be the
says the pilot isn't here, you wouldn't let Herschel Walker fly your plane. He thought he'd get away with that.
No, Herschel Walker said, I wouldn't let Obama fly the plane either.
Right.
We need a pilot for that. It was smart. I
Who's
mean,
your friend?
where?
Monty's.
Oh, yeah. I haven't been in there in a long time.
Everything
But
Soul corn dogs, Charles.
you have those, right?
Nah, that's not the type of thing I would have.
So, you think about a Herschel Walker in Georgia, he's not running to be president of the United States or mayor of New York. He's running to represent the people of Georgia. Now, my understanding of the state is that football is enormously popular in that state,
Yeah,
college and professional football. And this guy is a god of football. And, he's not using 25 syllable words. He's not pretending
No,
he's
he
a
speaks
PhD.
to the average person for sure.
Below average. I mean, but the point is, he's somebody, as he said, I'm somebody, I'm not Barack Obama, I'm not going to show up in a fancy suit,
I like his style. I never knew much about
I'm gonna get my
Herschel
hands
Walker.
dirty. I'm gonna fix things. Right?
Yeah.
And he's right about that.
I like him.
And meanwhile, here's Barack Obama. What he said actually, and we dissed him a little bit, I think, on one of the shows recently, where he said, Herschel Walker's just a minor celebrity trying to be a senator. Like, excuse me, Barack? What were you?
You were just a jackass lawyer trying to be a senator.
And barely.
Right.
He's not even hasn't been a member of the bar for quite a while, nor is his wife. And, why is that?
And the other thing that they were upset about is that they were saying that somebody moved Herschel Walker to Georgia just so he could become the senator.
You mean like Obama?
Well, right, or Hillary. Like, how is that now suddenly a criticism? I mean, it seems like everybody does that when they want to.
Well, they shouldn't do that, actually.
Oh, well, they shouldn't. But in other words, it's like when they do it, that's fine. When somebody else does it, it's a huge problem.
But,
go
ahead.
Well, I've been in touch with someone who this week has been arrested and charged for January 6th.
Really?
Yes.
Who's that?
I'm not going to say who it
I mean,
is.
generally speaking.
It's a lawyer.
Really? Well,
And so this represents a huge number of problems for him, whether it goes his way in court or not, but also, I mean, it's all this like trespass and disorderly conduct, but they're being charged as felonies.
right, but again, as a lot of people say, and it's funny, I think it was the guy running for either, I guess, governor in New Hampshire, Sununu, was on with
Governor
Chuck Todd
what?
of New Hampshire with Chuck Toad, and Toad was trying to go into this whole stuff about January 6th and January 6th, and Sununu said, listen, nobody cares about that. What people care about is rampant crime, an open border, war around the world, losing your job, schools disintegrating. That's what they care about. And, Toad had to basically get off his whole track. And the Democrat talking points in the argument for the election are miserable. They're not going to work. I mean,
This
they
guy
might.
just going through the light,
He doesn't give
ignoring
a shit.
pedestrians.
I don't give a shit. But, that's these people are truly stuck on stupid, convinced that they think, they're actually going to win the election this coming Tuesday, and I certainly hope that they don't. I know I'm going to vote for the first time in a long time, actually 24 years to be precise.
Wow.
In a midterm. And I am going to, not only am I going to vote, I'm going to hang around afterwards and maybe try to talk to people outside the polling place and see.
Be careful
What
they
the-
don't think you're electioneering
Well, I wouldn't worry about
or
that.
loitering.
Yeah, loitering. Who does that in Greenwich Village?
But speaking of that, this thing, True the Vote, they got arrested.
Engelbrecht, yeah.
What do you think of that?
It's horrible.
Of course, but it seems like, to me, when I hear that, it means they must have been onto something that was true and correct, and then so some social engineering jackass will latch on, inject something that can get them into trouble, and now they're in trouble.
Well, they're in jail.
I understand, but I'm saying it seems to me that that's an indicator that they were onto something, because
yeah.
when you start getting people doing things to try to jam you up and get you put in jail, and all you're trying to do is seek justice and that kind of thing, I don't know. It seems like we've seen this happening all over the place.
Right. Well, I mean, it would be fun, and we obviously not going to do it today, around Election Day or whatever, to walk up to people and say, did you actually vote for Joe Biden?
I'm kind of running out of patience for talking to anybody in New York City except you.
Okay. Soon we're both going to leave.
Yeah. Hopefully not in a wood box.
Hopefully not, yeah. So we're now at the base of McDougal Street and Prince.
You're all about that bass, Charles.
That's right.
No trouble.
I don't know which way you want to go, down 6th or?
Well, I mean, we could go look for that Chinese police station. It's 107 Broadway, I think they're
Pretty
saying.
far to the south, I think.
Yeah, we don't have to go there. I don't think we're going to be able to see anything. But what was interesting is that the Post had a story, New York Post had a story, saying that it's some sort of nonprofit thing which is running that. And so, I mean, again, it just comes back to why are they allowing these nonprofits to just...
Well, I started to say, I mean, when you look at modern history, really the period 82 to the present, economically speaking, that's a period where there have been bumps in the road, but in the main, the economy has been going up until recently. Now you have the Federal Reserve just spoke and they raised interest rates again, but they talked about maybe we've done enough, and so the market's reacting positively last several minutes. Is that where you live now?
No, I mean, what is that, a tent or something?
It's like a mattress to me.
But it looks like it's turned into a home. Is somebody in there?
It's probably a
we should go too
two-bedroom.
near
Well,
that.
there is somebody.
Yeah, there's
over
people under there.
there. Well, I don't know about there's birds there.
What the?
I smell marijuana.
Yep. Wow, that's legal weed, Charles. My God, this is just a
It's a
wreck.
cash crop.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe we go down the canal and over canal for a while.
Sure. So, but wait a minute, what were you just telling us?
So, what was I just telling us? I'm interrupting myself and I don't remember.
So all this exposure to illegal weed is causing
Exactly.
short-term memory. Whoa, what do you need a vacuum, Charles?
Eureka, yeah.
Oh my God.
Howard.
How is that a way to throw something away? Just drop it on the sidewalk?
It's how they roll. It's how you roll. Here you got a nice spa. Spa Soho.
So also, you know, Trump's financial, whatever that guy is on trial now.
What, Weissel something?
Yeah, for the Trump organization saying that they cheated on the taxes.
Well, you know, that's a good thing to talk about for a second. So in New York,
Should we go to that side so we're not roasted?
In New York, I am working on a story, actually. I had done a story that appeared in American Thinker and got some pretty good pickup on Rantingly and elsewhere, but talking about it's not going to be a red wave or a red tsunami, it's going to be a red route, and I think people are coming to that view. But in it, I linked to that hilarious Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson video, Welcome to Hell. And apparently Biden yesterday in Florida said, you know, the last 6 months in America have been hell.
It's like, dude, you're in charge.
You are a great marketer.
Yeah.
You're fantastic. You must have 60 years experience as a politician.
Really selling it.
I mean, way to hit the high points. It's hell, and I brought it to you. You should thank me.
Vote again.
Yeah, meet me at the Coven, or whatever.
Probably his cell phone battery is dead. It's an emergency.
He'll probably go to Georgia and start endorsing Senator Raphael Warnock.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the dude, his soap. I think I started to say that the historians are going to look back at this guy as an argument against
Fetterman.
Biden. As, you know, Biden's going to go out and endorse Fetterman. You know,
That's hilarious.
That's like the Seinfeld episode, right? Where the one trainer is trying to help the older trainers, his great grandfather.
TV, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's like an emu recommending that you hire an ostrich to be the, director of neurosurgery or something.
And you know, even the bottom of the class, you know, in like the bottom of the class is looking at this and saying, I can't vote for this shit.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
I can't get excited about this.
The girl had like a Malamute or something. Maybe I just need a giant dog and just let it eat people. You're like, I'm sorry.
You'd have to be a biologist.
Don't stand too close to it. It's bit your arm off. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, here he's going to rally the troops for Fetterman. You have, I know what I started talking about. I was doing a piece on New York. And when you look into the history of New York, it's quite interesting. The presidential elections. Reagan won in New York in 1980 because John Anderson soaked Democrat votes away from, I think it was whoever it was. And then he crushed it in New York in 84.
Wait, who did Reagan run against? First it was
Carter in 80.
Carter, and then Mondale.
But in 84 he crushed it.
Who was Dukakis running against?
Dukakis was running
Bush, I guess.
Yeah. And it's pretty sad to lose to George W. Bush.
The eyebrows did him in.
Well, being in the tank with a stupid helmet didn't help, and being from Massachusetts. But the point is that there are statistics on presidential election total votes by state, and it shows that ever since '84, Republicans have been crushed including in 2020 when Biden somehow got 5.4 million votes compared to 2 or 3 million for Trump. And now, though you've had this trend, a long time series trend, where Democrats in important elections do well, Chuck E. Cheese Schumer is not looking good in the polls, which I think oversample Democrats and frankly probably overweight support from what it's really going to look like at the polls, where I believe the biggest voting bloc, not just because I'm in it, is going to be people who used to be affiliated with the party but left because they think it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Independent types are going to throng to the polls. They're going to vote against incumbents in both parties, in my view. And Chuck E. Cheese Schumer is, he's about as attractive as herpes.
Two
I'd
cops
probably
texting.
take the marketing assignment for herpes before I take it for Schumer. He's an annoying piece of garbage.
Herpes, at least there's a treatment, I think.
Yeah, there's no treatment for Schumer other than
Yeah.
turning off the television and maybe drinking bourbon.
They could like have some pill that's like, are you experiencing an increased crime wave? Poverty,
Right.
litter. You might have Schumeritis.
That's right.
Ask your doctor. Side effects may include vomiting, nausea, diarrhea, but it's better than Schumer.
That's right, yeah. There's no known cure for Schumerism. But seriously, for Schumer, even if he wins, he ekes out a victory, I think in the last case that he ran 6 years ago, he got close to 70% of the vote. He might be, low 50s.
How can
if he
people
wins.
like him?
Because there are a lot of nasty people in New York that say,
That's
he
true.
reminds me of, he kind of looks like my son or my,
You think, yeah, I like
my
that Chuck
husband.
Schumer.
I like the way
Put
he
on a
dresses.
mask.
Nice cut of his jib. It's a great rat catcher.
This is a hybrid. What's this? Toyota Highlander.
Highlander. Yeah. Watch it.
So remember, we saw all the cops meeting down here
Right.
at the beginning for the COVID.
Yeah,
What the hell were they
I say
doing?
we go down Canal, something we haven't
Sure.
done in a long time.
Here's your car, Charles.
Yeah. Guys on the speakerphone driving.
That is, I think, a very expensive one with the carbon. What does it say? It's a
It
turbo.
says 911 turbo. Is that?
That's a lot of money.
Is it really? It's a couple hundred?
I don't know if it's over 200, but they're getting pretty crazy with the turbo 911. Or Carrera,
It's a
whatever they
contented
call it.
little person.
9. Sorry?
A contented little person in a
Yeah,
stroller there. Not a care in the world yet. Yeah, this is, I don't know if you get in trouble for saying it's Indian summer, but
Native American summer.
maybe they were talking about subcontinent summer when it's baking hot.
I don't know where they got that. But yeah, I mean, when I left the apartment, it said 65, so
Yeah.
I wore this jacket, but it seems
global
way
warming.
hotter than that. It seems more like 70, 80.
It's global warming at work, Jason.
I mean, I don't know about that. It's sometimes can be this warm until...
Shall we go comparison shopping for Louis
For what?
for Louis Vuitton luggage over
Oh,
here?
on the sidewalk? Sure.
Yeah, we can. For my trip, need to get some. Not.
See, the thing that I used to like about that is that it was clearly understood by them that what they were doing was illegal and that they needed to leave at any given moment. So they were not... Like now people think that they own this area and
Right.
even though they might be in the country illegally or definitely selling things illegally
Right.
or broadcasting audio illegally, mind your own damn business and we can do whatever the hell we want.
Right.
I mean, Charles, we're just living in a cesspool.
In a Shitholi.
Yes. Non-functional police force, no law and order, tons of
Why would you
businesses
want
out.
that?
What?
Why would you want law and order? Bummer.
Yeah, I don't know. Security cameras, good luck.
Yeah.
This is the place that sells all the security cameras that don't work. Look, there's NYPD right there. This is the most effective cop I've seen. Just put him in the window. Nobody will mess with
Security
you.
guard.
I mean, Charles, how many security cameras can not capture before we start.
Well, I mean, you got an open border on the south, and they probably the same team. So, the people who are making sure that nobody streams across the open border will protect the Pelosi house. And as Tucker, the first half hour of Tucker these days is very much worth watching. There typically are not advertisements, and he goes on rants. But, what was the security force actually doing? Why do you even have it?
How does the alarm not go off?
Well, these people are not inexpensive. I mean, I would guess a security guard counting their pensions and everything fully loaded, probably $100,000 a year.
I would think more than that.
How many of them are there? And again, the timeline. Biden was making these absurd allegations at a fundraiser on Friday evening, Washington D.C. time.
What allegations?
About what it may have happened out there.
That it was
MAGA
January 6th.
QAnon bullshit.
That's baseless.
I understand that, but he's the president, so he gets to say that shit. The point is, the drama happened, I believe, at 2:15 a.m. Friday morning, California time, which is 5:30 a.m. in D.C. And I guarantee you, Nancy Pelosi was not up 5:15 to 5:30.
When's last call in D.C.?
Well, no, she was sleeping it off at that time. There's
Yeah.
no way she was up. So who called? From where? And how would they have known about it? And why? And Tucker's point yesterday, which was a good one, with Glenn Greenwald, who also is quite
was
good.
he on?
Yeah, and they were saying, listen, a journalist's number one approach is to ask questions, particularly of the powerful. That's the role of a journalist.
But they're now saying,
skeptical.
no, you're not allowed to ask
No.
questions. That list of stuff you're not allowed to question on YouTube, Twitter,
Well, but
that's growing.
Well, when people see that, they tune in, turn out, and they say, fuck off. So, if what you were trying to do now is inspire people to legitimately vote on Tuesday, the Democrats are not going to do that. Meanwhile, I think the folks who are not necessarily Republican, who are actually doing their best to feed their own families and extended families and care for their communities and try to be safe in an increasingly dangerous world, those people are saying, listen, we're going to fucking vote. And we're not going to vote for Team Biden or Team Eric Adams or Kathy Hochul. We're just not.
Team Eric Adams, brought to you by Team Eric Adams. Everything out of business?
Right. But it's prime.
And junk
Prime retail.
hanging
You got
all
the nice
over
shoes.
people's pants,
It's art.
somebody's apartment.
It's art.
Crazy man.
It's where I
What
get
is
my
this?
foam rubber.
Yeah.
This actually used to be, when I was a kid, this area used to be where you could get toys, cheap toys.
These are new. Local Hoops and Drake's and C-No. That's all new.
Yeah. Did you organize the sirens?
No. This is new. Actually, no, this might have been here. DJ places were what they always had down here. Well, always during my time.
Noisy.
It's unbelievable.
And this is where you get your lighting.
Not really.
I thought you had a whole bunch of this stuff.
Nah. Neon.
Not you?
Oh my God, with the sirens. Wow.
Sorry. Like you would think the policeman would understand the traffic's not moving.
The police barely understand English, Charles.
Right.
They're truly disgraceful.
So this is where Louis Vuitton luggage and Gucci luggage is manufactured, right here.
Well, that's new. Guild.
God, that is noisy in Illinois.
Yeah.
And so here we have Broadway. I think around here we're at like 400 probably. So 107 is probably quite a ways down.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be deep in Chinatown. And again, I don't know if we're going to really see anything. It's just noteworthy that it was a tax-exempt
Crocs.
thing. What?
Those are Crocs.
Oh yeah,
Some
no.
fake Gucci stuff.
Yeah, I don't care about Crocs. I'm saying it's notable that the
What does he expect people to do?
he's obviously an idiot. Go where, stupid?
I bet it's donut time.
Just ridiculous. I forget what I was even saying.
All right, so here we are on, let's see the number. We've got like quite a selection of Gucci bags here. Can
look
you
at
see
that.
any street numbers?
Well, I see sacred tattoo with some weird symbol. Maybe that's sacred geometry. What is it that you want to look for?
Well, I mean, you were looking for 107. I'm trying to get a sense of how far away we are.
No, it's definitely deep in Chinatown. I saw a picture of the building. But the thing that's interesting to me about it is that it's a non-profit thing that's
Right.
on some kind of blacklist. But what the hell does that list do? Why don't they just investigate it, prosecute them,
I mean, how
take
does-
the Chinese police out of here?
How do the Chinese have a police force in our city?
That's what I'm saying. What grants them authority to enforce anything that's a gang? Then again, so is the NYPD.
Serious, sick. Actually, last night I was flipping channels and I was watching Bloomberg, and they have some big conference in Hong Kong because for the first time in a long time, it's open enough that you can gather people.
Oh, yeah, yeah. A lot of people are doing that now.
So they had this guy from the Chinese ministry talking, and the CEO of the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, and it was sad. It was like the guy from the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, every time his big boss from the mainland would say anything, he's like, yes, yes. He's like a trained seal.
That's new, Kentucky Fried Chicken there.
Huh.
Here, there's also retail restaurant.
That's KFC? Wow.
I mean, isn't it? With Chinese written there.
Yeah, but you wouldn't, it's like unlike McDonald's across the way.
I saw Colonel, what's his name,
No,
somewhere.
it's definitely KFC. You have,
Yeah, up there. No, I think I saw the tie. I thought that was a picture of him.
doesn't seem to be terribly popular, and it's locked.
Oh, but also, I mean, how is that guy not racist? Colonel, what's his name? He's like, looks like he's running a plantation. Wow.
Because you run a plantation doesn't mean you're racist.
I'm just kidding. I don't think he's racist. That chicken is disgusting.
I'll get you some Chinese McDonald's.
It's okay. I'm not. Do they? I don't think they have any Chinese menu. I've never been in there. It's just a regular American McDonald's written in Chinese, right?
Yes. I mean, Mugu Gai Pan.
Charles, that's new too. All this stuff is new.
Yeah, this is
Interesting, right?
Enzo Bruni. That doesn't sound terribly Chinese. New York fucking city, cock. I mean, is this the best you can? Any of these T-shirts are filthy. I mean, are they really selling this stuff?
No.
And what are they selling?
You got to go in back there to find out what they're actually selling. I think.
Opium.
Something like that. Yeah, so I mean, I was just really noticing how they basically shut down the tweet that said, oh, maybe there's more to this, and have gotten right back onto pushing this guy was MAGA, and everything bad in the world has to do with January 6th.
Well, I mean, the guy is, first of all, he's Canadian. I sent you that thing I was remembering. Fred Garvin, male prostitute.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's that funny skit with Dan Aykroyd
Yeah.
from Saturday Night Live from like 30 years ago. But, with Trump, how many minutes of television time when he was up at West Point in the heat with new shoes and he was walking carefully down the
Oh yeah, I know.
25th Amendment right away, Larry Tribes.
From walking slowly.
And you can't ask, reasonable questions about what happened out there in San Francisco. Where was Paul Pelosi prior?
Where were the Capitol Police? They seem to be the ones who are not able to do anything, and anything that they fail to stop, which would be the easiest, like a drunk weirdo breaking in. Oh, more January 6th. They're also the same group that was unable to prevent people. So this person who I was talking to, who was charged last week for January 6th, spoke about a lot of what this was a private phone call, spoke about a lot of what you and I observed, which is, he's like, wait a minute, why are all these guys crawling up and climbing on this thing? I mean, it's just so obvious.
And they're talking about who's the scaffold commander, who was the guy on
How do they not know who that is? You know, how do they not question John Earl Sullivan? How do they not question...
It says 75
Ray
degrees.
Epps? That makes more sense, 75. I think that's even low. It was feeling like 80 when I was walking down. But you're right, that is high. It should be like 50.
Yeah.
We're talking Fahrenheit for people who are viewing from other areas of the world.
Mercedes is interesting. What is that?
That's an SL, AMG SL. Super cool. Mercedes.
Jason's House of Cars. So here we are. This is we're in like a section of Chinatown now. I forget the name, which part of it is. It's like the outskirts. These guys.
It's just a whole wreck. Landis, yeah.
Those fucking things.
Slingshot.
Yeah, they have them out in front of the New York Public Library every Saturday, making tremendous noise.
It's ridiculous.
Put those fucking things on a barge and sink the barge. How much do those things cost?
I actually don't know.
Yeah, now we're definitely in Chinatown over
Yeah.
here. Sung Sai, I mean, that's your old-fashioned. I think isn't that Vietnamese language on the left? Na Hang Tan Te Goi. What is it?
Seems more like Vietnamese, yeah. But I don't know. And isn't there a lot of crossover in Vietnam with China?
Although I think they're
Chinese
pretty
people.
not too friendly, the Chinese.
I knew a Chinese person who grew up in Vietnam.
I think that there's deep-seated historical animosity between them.
Well, he and his family, he's slightly older than me, and he and his family escaped when the Vietnam War began, and they escaped in like a tiny boat where pirates attacked and did all kinds of terrible stuff to his mom and his sisters, and they had to, I don't even want to tell you, it's a terrible story.
That's nice.
But
It's
he's
a
a
good
very
look.
nice guy,
It's where I get my gold and diamonds here.
I'm sure. Well, I feel like there's a lot of other news stories. Let me see what we're not hitting on here. So, what about this text message from Liz Truss to Anthony Blinken, allegedly saying it's done minutes after the pipeline exploded?
Yeah, I mean, and what's truly going on in Ukraine right now? I mean, we have a story that America does have, in fact, military on the ground. When was that authorized?
Well, don't you think it's an amazing display of restraint on the part of Russia to not have done some major thing?
Well, they're beating the shit out of Ukraine right now.
But I'm saying to the United States.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they did say something about how, they want to have peace talks, but not just with Zelensky. The United States needs to be involved. Because Russia is just saying, like, look, you're in this, and so stop pretending. And Joe Biden's like, huh?
But of course, I mean, have we learned nothing? We've got creep in the Michigan. Oh, I know what the one thing I didn't send to you because it's so disgusting. When he voted, there was a picture of him with his granddaughter.
Oh, yeah, touching her breast.
He had his hand like right on top, not on her breast per se.
Why is he doing that?
But very close. And the girl was maybe like 12 or 13.
15 at best, yeah.
And that's something you just don't do to any girl, let alone a relative,
So
on
weird.
television.
How does he not realize that's totally not?
And how do women stand for that?
I don't
I mean,
know.
you're going to have the whole, Me Too stuff, which you should have. This guy is a worse groper than Harvey Weinstein.
Well, and what happened to what's her name, Tara Reid?
Yeah, where's that book? Where's that interview?
I think they prevented that book from coming out, didn't they?
But so how can you say you're a feminist and tolerate this shit? I mean, every woman, I would guess, even a woman who's having trouble remembering what happened yesterday, a 7-year-old woman, pick on somebody my age, a 66-year-old woman, you're going to remember being an adolescent when your breast came in and how you felt uncomfortable about it. Now your grandfather's feeling you up on television.
So weird.
I mean,
Yeah,
and it's not like the
Just keep him from sniffing anybody.
It's not like it's the first time he's done this,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
No, it's a
you don't
definite
get
problem.
the excuse of saying you're handsy in 2022. If you're, you know,
I'm affectionate. Well,
bullshit. You
what
don't
did
do that.
Cuomo say? I'm Italian. It's like, how is that an excuse? Whoa, look at that. So I'm starting to see
We
more
saw
of these.
We saw this around
The
here.
boot.
Near here, we saw something just like this, actually, on the other side of the street.
Well,
Near that jewelry store. Kung Tu Jewelry Corp. Not Kung, or maybe that's Kung Fu. See it? Kung
See it. No, it's two.
Tu or Fu?
T-O-O, because I think they
Or
can't.
Kung Joe.
I think they can't spell T-W-O.
This is a kind
That's a
of,
warning.
you know, when you want jewelry, you come here, you get a great bargain. Not.
Yeah, it's not a thing to do. Oh man, this boot here too.
Boot Hill we're on.
Yeah.
Well, it would appear that there's a police station.
Boot edge. Is
There's
that's-
another moron. He's on top of the transportation debacle. Everything's fucked up in transportation.
Yeah. Well, and people are now trying to figure out, based on David DePappy or whatever his name is, who comes after Nancy Pelosi in the progression.
Well,
Or
it's
maybe you
certainly-
were asking me that.
It's certainly not Pete Buttigieg. I mean, you have
Would
to
it
have
be Chuck Schumer?
no. It's President Pro Tem of the Senate or something like that. It's senator, and then you start going down, Secretary of State, Secretary of the Treasury. You go before long, you're down Secretary. You know, to get to Buttigieg, you have to be. You know, you go through the whole. Whatever band it was that sings YMCA, you get through all of them,
Village
and then
People.
you get Pete Buttigieg.
It's like, well, Ace Frehley of Kiss has died in a plane crash, so I guess it's Pete Buttigieg.
No, it's who's the guy from America's Got Talent, the British guy?
Simon Cowell.
Simon Cowell is there. You know, the guy Hong.
Yeah.
You know, Shebang, he's there. He's next in line. But so where are we now? This is
That's the
Bowery.
Manhattan
You can
Bridge.
You can walk up Bowery. You know, fitting. You know, where the bums hang out. That's where Joe is probably in the Lucky Star bar right now. And this used to be, you know, and it's not exactly high living down here, but this used to be where the old-fashioned hobos would live on the streets.
What do you mean old-fashioned hobos? Like hobos who wore a top hat and tails?
Well, you know, people who were basically cheap whiskey people and
Actually, an old-fashioned hobo would be one of those guys who has a stick with
Right.
all his stuff tied up in a bandana,
right,
hanging on the edge.
right. But this was even, you know, in the days going like back centuries. This is where the folks who were down on their luck would hang out. Of course, in the early time, this was a farm, but hence the name. You can stop. You want to need a massage here, foot rub, body work.
No, you know what? My reflexology place, which admittedly I hadn't gone to for 2 years, after the road trip, I was just feeling very kind of tense from sitting in the car so much, and I went there, and they're out of business, obviously.
See, that's because that's all on you. You didn't go there for 2 years. I mean, you were going there 6 times a day, and
I was never going 6 times a day.
Jesus.
But, you know, it's funny, because when you go to Asia, legitimate massage, I'm not talking about anything untoward.
no hanky-panky.
That happens all the time. That it's everywhere. Japan, Singapore, whatever. And I don't know, for whatever reason, people just presume that reflexology in the United States is hookers.
Right. Yeah, well, that's because it is.
Not this place. Maybe that's why they went out of business.
That's probably right. Yeah, I didn't realize that this is still Chinatown over here. No,
I don't
see
know
many
that it
restaurants.
technically is, because it's going to have boundaries. I think it's got to be below Houston Street to actually be Chinatown. I think it's just Chinatown grew so much that
There
the
we go.
business has expanded.
Hochul Delgado.
Yeah. Well, of course, China wants her.
No.
Not surprised by that.
I doubt even China doesn't want her.
You know, when I was driving around the country, Charles, the only political sign I saw at all was Trump.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Kroll.
it said Trump, Pence 2020 and on a truck. I forget.
What state?
I forget. So we got a ticket.
State of denial.
Oh, look,
Look
what's
at
this?
this place. Looks like it's seen better days here. New Hong Wong.
It smells like garbage on the street.
Yeah. always a strong marketing move. Stack garbage in front of a restaurant, pack them in.
See, this is ironic.
Yeah.
3 things the cops know nothing about. 3313 at the 5th precinct.
New Camboat Bakery and Cafe.
This is Eric Adams, New York.
Yeah.
A filthy, disgusting
I
pile.
love New York. New York, New York. But New York is shaping up. I mean, if we have a legitimate election, and I think it's an open question whether we do, you could have a scenario where Schumer wins but looks very weak, and or where Letitia James loses, and or where the Attorney General loses.
Oh, is she running? Do we get to vote?
Yeah, she's voting for. She's running for governor. I mean, for Attorney General, rather.
Yeah, I didn't know that was elected, though.
It
so
is.
who is running against her?
Some Republican dude. I don't know.
Oh, we better find out.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to go and vote.
Right. I mean, you could have a
put
turnip there.
Gumby down there.
Yeah.
You know, I vote for Gumby. I'd vote for Triumph, the attack dog. Over
That Triumph comic dog had his own January 6th, but he got off.
Did he really?
Well, remember that, I forget the name of the guy that makes that dog. He's a old writer from Saturday Night Live or something, but
We walked in there once. We won't do it now. Remember how dangerous it was? We walked up that side street. and it's
is
just-
that where they have the gambling park?
No, that's further down, further behind us. But we walked in there, and we were thinking. We walked from further up down, and we walked in there, and it was one of the very few times I've actually been terrified. You and I walking on camera on a Sunday. Yeah. That's a big ass
I'm
Bowery.
thinking they did that on purpose because that's a brand new building, and that looks very purposely put there.
And then here's this thing up here. We own the future.
Who is that?
Who knows?
Well,
Das Kapital.
this is a nightclub or
Is it?
catering hall or
Old-fashioned-
something.
It's a nice building. Yeah, the Bowery Savings Bank. Dylan Reed bought the
Well,
Bowery.
because it used to be a bank.
We did a leverage buyout on this. Made decent money on it. Pretty odd to do a leverage buyout on a leveraged institution, but we did it nonetheless.
Huh. Well, what is that? We own the future. A lot of
I don't know.
symbols there that might.
It says obey.
Oh my God!
O-B-E-Y.
So we know what this is.
I mean, this is a step up. I mean, now Broome Street.
From what?
I mean, from what it used to be.
When?
What, in the 60s and 70s?
Oh, no. I'm sure it's a step up from when the Earth was a scorching
Yeah,
ball of liquid iron,
Yeah.
but it's only slightly better.
That's right. Yeah. Casa Bocado. We walked by this before, I think.
Everything is out of business.
Well, if it's lucky.
So what has Eric Adams done? Like, while I was gone, did he do anything?
No, he got up there and he said, you know, actually it is pretty dangerous to go on the subway. You better put your head on the
don't
swivel.
listen to the iPod.
You better go don't look at your phone and
Yeah.
put your head on a swivel. And then, you know, that Hochul and others are arguing the fact that ridership is down 40% on the subway is because of Fox News saying it's dangerous, not because it's dangerous.
I doubt 40% of New York is watching Fox News.
Well, I mean, I don't know the last time you went on the subway, but now what you have is you have a whole bunch of ne'er-do-wells or miscreants at the entrance to each subway. And the Lord help you if you go into one of those with multiple levels and you're on the mezzanine level underground. You know, all these fucking bums everywhere. And it's not safe.
Is that Marvin Gaye?
No, it's George Floyd, I think.
No, I think that's Marvin Gaye.
What does the crowd say?
Marvin Gaye was killed by his own father.
It's horrible.
It is. Actually, somebody I knew in LA was doing a Marvin Gaye, biography movie that actually looked really good. I wonder what happened to that. Never came out as far as I know.
Tiny homes, itsy bitsy teeny weeny.
What are you talking about? Oh, what is, I don't understand how this is a tiny home.
I don't know.
That's just apartments.
If you want some cooking equipment, we can get this to one of these things here. This is where I get my cooking equipment.
I mean, it looks like it's out for garbage, you know?
It's sad, look at this. Missing since July 28th, 6th.
Yikes. 25th birthday.
In Georgia.
Wow. Surveillance video shows her walking near Singleton Road.
In Georgia. Why is this up here?
I guess they're becoming desperate to find this person.
Is this complete meathead? We buy and sell new and used restaurant equipment.
And then we throw it out on the street.
Through the door.
Doesn't look good.
Yeah, next week at this time it could be, 29 degrees and snowing.
Yeah, it could.
Cash registers, slicers, Jason. You get a used slicer. Get one of these suckers. Your contributions come in from Crowdsource the Truth, and there you are.
Cha-ching. Cash it in.
Got some recycling here.
So the other thing that's happened that there seems to be no response to is that they said that the United Kingdom was also,
What?
well, we seem to have lost the ability to switch back to selfie. That's interesting. That's happened only a few times. Huh.
Pest yak. What is that?
Darn it. That's, well, if I try to resolve this, it could end the broadcast. Let me see what I can do about this.
Okay.
It just feels like such a mistake to start messing with it.
Don't.
Well, but then we just have to just do this.
All right. Well, whatever you want, Jason. I don't want to.
Well, yeah, it's just there's always some kind of craziness coming up.
This is a guy who's really creative. Chair, table, booth, restaurant supply. Okay, that's a good name. Nobody thought of that before.
It's closed, though.
Up here?
I mean, isn't it?
On the second floor?
Oh, they moved it?
What is it good for? I don't know.
All right, so let's just see some of these other stories I wanted to talk to you about. Or if anybody in the comments has anything they want to say.
Well, you asked the question about Liz Truss and
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, I think I was asked by friends from Sputnik to comment on what I thought was going on in the UK a number of weeks ago, and basically the UK is completely fucked. I mean, the economy stinks. It has a long history.
Well, that's technical terminology, Charles.
I'm trying to make it simple. I mean, it has a long history of too much inefficient, wasteful government bureaucracy. It's anti-capital. It's pro-immigrant, pro-crime. You can't protect yourself. There's no ability to have guns anymore, and so crime is rampant. And why would you waste your time on that country at this point? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to invest in it. And the conservatives have been woefully ineffective for a long time now, arguably for decades. And you know what's going to happen. This Sushi Runak is going to screw up, or whatever, Rishi Sunak, or whatever his name is, and he's going to his wife's a daughter of a billionaire, and it's going to go hard left. You know that, and there's just no point in hoping for it to get fixed because it's not.
So the Wall Street, shifting gears, Wall Street Journal says Saudi Arabia, U.S. on high alert after warning of imminent Iranian attack. Who gave them that warning? Why is, it seems like last week Saudi Arabia was saying, hey, we don't like you anymore, and now we're ready to go to war with them?
No, it's Iran. Iran has long hated Saudi, and
so they just figure America's all screwed up, strike now?
No, Biden has said, the Biden team, which was hopeful to resurrect the abortion that was the Iran deal, has decided not even to negotiate anymore. So they've given up on Iran. Iran's furious with the West, and it's in the interest of Russia to have the oil price go up. Right? So
well,
it makes
that's obvious.
Right, so it makes sense to attack Saudi Arabia and push oil prices way up.
Oh boy.
So that the pain gets really even worse for Europe. And you're already seeing, here we go, we like this place, remember? We do stainless steel works and dinningware, Simbo Dinningware. Not so good in the spelling department.
What about
place.
the marital place?
That's right by here. It used to be,
There it is.
Marital Art Supplies.
Maybe it's the same sign company. You're like, hey, we're doing all the signs on
You
this
know,
block.
Bowery Marital Art Supply, right?
Yeah.
You know, Bowery Honeymoon Suite. Think of it.
The thing is, that would be relatively, oh, I can't zoom in either. That would be relatively easy to fix. You could just pull off the T and the I and flip them.
Yeah, but you got fuck war underneath it, you know, so there's
Yeah, that's annoying when this thing stops working. But okay, keep walking.
So one of the times we walked through here, there were a bunch of bums, like aggressive bums that we were nervous about. On the right hand side, there's I think we may have passed it already, but there was like a settlement house or something like that, where there were a whole bunch of angry, poor bums looking at us.
Was that on this street?
Yeah,
or?
it was. And also on another street, but it happened here too. We had to go out of our way into traffic to make sure they didn't.
Right, it's some kind of shelter or home for men or something.
Are these Biden's?
I don't think so.
These
this
paintings?
is Westwood Gallery. We need John George.
Greg.
What's that guy's name?
Breg or something like that. B-R-E-G.
Berger, George Berger.
Yeah. Manufacturers of food Irvis Qui. Mr. Rogers and Sons.
Oh yeah.
I once went into a place like this near Poughkeepsie thinking I'd get a bargain. Much more expensive than buying at Walmart or buying it.
Really?
Yeah. You know, to get like a whole bunch of spare. If you're going to throw a party for 48 people, you know, you don't want to.
Somebody says that was CBGB's. Which was? Did we walk by CBGB's? I'm pretty sure we haven't.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I don't think we've walked by
It's
the
been so
old
long
CBGB's.
since I've been out.
Isn't that further up like?
You're speaking Swahili. Chair, table, booth outlet. Nice window treatment, huh?
They should have the James Wilkes Booth outfit.
Very inviting thing. You know, you look at this and you think cleanliness is next to godliness. This store is nowhere near godliness. I'm out of here. It's all filthy. Of course, you get this nice graffiti look on the corner of East Houston.
Look, these people
and
are
Bowery.
getting ready to go make a movie, Charles.
And
They have
NYU Film School. I think
gear.
there's a theater down there. We walked down.
This is a production crew. They took this stuff, tripods, whatnot.
Are you at NYU Film School? No, you're not. You're on the corner of East Houston and Bowery. Where are you headed?
We're going to her apartment to drop off the equipment.
What equipment? What years are you in? What?
We're juniors. We're
Juniors.
in experimental filming.
Do you know this famous alumnus? NYU Film School? All kinds of awards? Seriously. This is your future. Get home safely. Is that what you used to do? Or you had crews back then?
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of equipment that they did not have when I was there. I mean, everything's gone digital now, so the school is quite a bit different. And
All female group.
right,
Very diverse. All female.
except that they're all female, right?
Right.
Now, so
Keep
we've got a
going.
bunch of different things here where drones are happening, and what Kirby is saying that there's no sign that Russia is preparing to use nuclear weapons, except that Putin keeps saying, if you F with us, we will, and they
I
keep
think this
effing
guy
with him.
Kirby, should go. I mean, he's hopeless. Where they found this guy? He's the kind of person who's like, wandering around the street, and the real person was supposed to do the speaking, and this guy's there in his suit, and they say, okay, we'll use you, just don't say anything too stupid. And, Kirby says, what are you talking about?
How stupid is too stupid?
I mean, the President of the United States sets the bar pretty low, Chef Restaurant Supply Co. And here's another table, chair, butcher block store. So, for those of you who are trying to get a professional kitchen, now you know where to go.
So the polls are showing Zeldin each inching ahead.
It's going to be Zeldin, in my view, by at least 3 percentage points, could be up to 6, 7, in my view. Because when you look, as I have been looking at the historical results, what you have typically is that New York County, Manhattan, and some of the other metropolitan boroughs heavily go for the Democrat. upstate is typically, most of the upstate counties, and there's 60 odd counties in New York, go for the Republican, doesn't matter who. And I think now, those ladies who are in the film school, if they can vote, they're not going to vote on Tuesday.
Well, we don't even know if they are citizens. Many
I'm
of
just
them
saying,
look
well,
like
it
they
doesn't
might.
matter, Jason, right?
That's true.
I mean, come on, don't be so technical. Don't be a techno weenie.
Now, the other thing is, Charles, Last Refuge, Sundance, and various others are reporting that the Pelosi home had a live CCTV security feed that the Capitol Police were not watching, but there is a recording. And I just say again, if that recording supports the obviously stupid story that they've been telling us, why not come out with it and say, well, we don't need to speculate. Here's the video of the guy breaking in.
Right.
But again, I say, we've had a week. You could have created that now.
Right.
Show somebody breaking in on some crappy security video and say, see, there it is. So this is, it's
manufactured reality. It's social engineering.
Exactly. Stipulated reality. It's important for people to observe what is going on. And that is, they create a big event, whether that is the 17th letter of the alphabet,
6th of
January 6th, the Port of Charleston, whatever it is. That event is so crucial for them to sell as a fact, despite how false it is, that they will go to ridiculous ends to continue pushing on. We were having a similar problem to our audio thing from the other day. All right, let's keep walking. It seems to have fixed itself. Now it's clicking a lot. Let's see. Hopefully that won't.
You want your shoes shine?
No. But the point is,
hair color?
what they do is they put so much energy, no matter how obvious that it's false. And I was looking at Chris Boozy, his Twitter feed, because he seems to be a really big player in this whole inauthentic activity in social media area.
Right.
And he's just publishing things that he obviously wants to be true, as if he believes that saying something on Twitter can will it into existence. And I have a feeling that there's been so much time spent of them actually doing that, where they can get bullshit over the line through social engineering and Twitter accelerated bullshit.
Well, we know
that they now consider that a way to actually create reality.
Well, so they know that the unemployment numbers are coming out Friday. They probably believe, and they manufacture them to be good, which would explain why Biden is on the campaign trail, so he'll take credit for strong economy in theory through the election. But I mean, I don't know about you, you're just back. But every day I go and buy food, I'm shocked by some new thing. I mean, I went to get
coconut juice hit me like
I went to get a bunch of, and people may know, and we're not going to disclose where, that I'm about to go on a trip. And so I went and I figured I better go and do a bunch of dry cleaning. And I expected the bill to be about $80.
Oh, no.
150.
Yeah, I kind of stopped dry cleaning a long time ago.
I was like, what? What did I get? A new suit for this?
Right.
It was just.
And it's also tons of chemicals that are terrible for you if you're not using an organic place.
Careful. But so every time you interact with a charge, you see that prices are going up for everything. People are now starting to get their pink slips, I think. The humane thing to do, frankly, is to fire people well before the holiday season so they don't rack
Maybe
up.
Find something else. Oh, buy all the gifts and then not be able to pay it.
Get fired January 1st.
Yeah.
So I mean, being fired is never a good thing, obviously, but unless it's get fired Joe Biden.
Right, it can be a good thing.
That would be awesome. I mean, if we do have justice in this election, and Hochul and others are all with their walking papers, I mean, we should have one hell of a party.
Well, if it was just us, we could vote for everybody and then problems would be solved.
No, I'm just saying, if the result goes the way we want,
I know.
We should have a crowdsource the truth shindig celebration. Rent a backhoe, whatever, find some land that we could use, dig a big trench, have a
None
pig
of
roast.
that is going to happen.
I know. Set off some fireworks. It's like a lot of tickets.
That's what I was looking at.
So this is
why not the boot?
Grace Church High School up here on the left.
Didn't they do something kind of surprising just recently?
Yeah, there's some crazy land stuff. I mean, my elementary school, the first one I went to, well, Grace was my elementary school too, but first one I went to from nursery, kindergarten to first grade, I was looking him up. Here's a Grace graduate, a Grace student.
Yep.
I was dressed like Fetterman. Hoodie.
Didn't have the stupid
Probably
look
could
on
do
her face.
better than Fetterman shithouse. that
I
person.
mean, he's just.
And isn't that what's that hotel there?
That is the Standard Hotel. Actually, the Moxie Hotel is right up here where.
On the 11th. That's on 3rd though, I think, right?
Yeah, that I don't think we're going to be able to see much there, but that's where this Heidi Klum
Right.
Halloween party happened. That Elon Musk showed up dressed as Baphomet.
But I started to say that my elementary school, nursery, kindergarten, first grade, currently charges for the same price each year, nursery through 8th grade, either $6,000 or $8,000 a year
Wow.
after tax per kid.
Do you get a Cadillac with that?
You get nothing. You don't even get the uniform. You got to pay for
that's-
the uniform, after school shit. You know, you can't yourself drop your kids off. You got to have 1 or 2 nannies for that.
I don't know.
That costs
doesn't,
money. But here's Grace, and this is, the Prince Charles Monstrous Carbuncle School of Architecture. I mean, how the hell did they design a building like this?
What's
This is
happening
new.
with King Charles?
He's not yet, I think, what do they call it? It's not embalmed, although he could be embalmed. It's,
Coronated?
Coronation.
They should
Coronation's-
embalm them at the
Yeah, I
coronation.
think he's already been
They're
embalmed.
like, oh, whoops. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not dead yet. That's all right.
I'm not
Proceed.
quite dead. Yeah. But so St. Luke's is 50. There's got to be 60 plus per year for these kids, all dressed like slobs. That's
But also-
after tax.
And it's not a church here. It's just a building.
No, well, this is a high school. Didn't have a high school division. Didn't have a high school when I went and stopped in 8th grade.
Ah. Well,
But they went ahead and it's not. It's
see,
relatively.
this woman should know better.
She's not. Doesn't. She's probably a billionaireess. He doesn't care. But it's relatively straightforward to set up a school that deals with kids up to 8th grade. By 8th grade, you got some kids who are maybe doing high school or even college level work. But in the main, it's your coloring, art, music, athletics.
Don't you have to teach people how to read and stuff?
That kind of. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, that's kind of very judgmental. But
Reading is racist.
math is certainly racist. It's how I feel.
Yeah.
You haven't asked me how I feel
Deep
about this math
down, we
problem.
really know what the solution to this math problem is. It doesn't matter what it adds up to.
Yeah, when I sit in the morning, I'll sit different places and have a cup of coffee or whatever, and I overhear these conversations of people who are in college or graduate school or working or whatever, and they're always talking about an issue, and it's, well, I feel this, and I feel this about that. I don't give a fuck how you feel about this issue. Did you sell the product? Did you get the costs down? Did you collect the receivable in business? I don't care how you feel about it. Doesn't matter.
It's warm and fuzzy.
It's the United States of feelings.
Yeah.
This is your favorite hangout, right?
What do you mean?
With the cube and everything?
Chase Bank? Oh, this thing here? No, that's the Saturn or Hypercube or something.
Whatever it's called. Yeah, I think if we just keep going up here to 11th, we'll get to your hotel.
That might be right. And we're going this way anyway. Look, this guy's climbing up there or something. It doesn't look like he's got a lot of good
Pete
ideas
Buttigieg.
going on.
Save
what is this
Social
dude
Security.
What does it say? Save. Oh, wait. This he's staging some sort of protest likely to result in injury. Let's just watch for a moment.
He's got a wheelchair there, or somebody does. Let's just get away from
I
that.
think he's going to need it in a minute. Fall off of that thing and go splat.
This is that's famous Starbucks where the guy, Chris Noth, hangs
Yeah.
out there, and Cornel West is there. And
They basically canceled that guy's career before there was even a trial. They just said he sort of did
put him
something.
in the Biden cabinet.
Yeah.
This is a nice old structure, right? This got to be 100
It's
years
the
old.
subway, isn't it?
But isn't this got to be 100 years old, don't you think?
Maybe. I think it's probably
Gotta
got a
be at least
sign on
as
it
old as
from
Biden.
being a historic thing, no?
So Biden is having. Have you gotten your invitation?
It just says Astor Place.
Yeah,
My
Biden has
invitation
gotten.
to what?
He's meeting with his close supporters about getting ready for to launch his re-election campaign.
No, I'm not invited to that.
I'm just teasing, but can you imagine being the fundraiser in charge of that lost cause?
I think there's a lot of idiots giving money to it, though.
Or saying they give money. I don't think they actually give money. No
That's skill.
rhythm.
Charles, that guy's got the moves.
Or not. So- actually, yeah, you don't have any rhythm.
Yeah, well, it is. You know,
So this,
wasn't that Target or Walmart or something?
it's going to be a Wegmans.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
But now that Wegmans is going to be over here in the next book. Well, let's go on across here. And
All right. Wow, so they're not putting Wegmans in this thing. So that's another piece of giant retail that they've lost. What was that guy
that one.
looking at?
he's hoping to be in frame. Figures he's got.
He almost got crashed into by another
He
bicycle.
keeps looking at you.
He does. I don't really like it.
Yeah. So, I want to send this to my family so they can watch it in Bangladesh. Have you been watching what's going on in Bangladesh? It's
Didn't they like attack the presidential palace or something?
maybe, but like 70% of the country's underwater or something. I mean,
Oh
that's
yeah, they had a
fact.
flood. Well, now the other thing we need to talk about, Charles, is Brazil, because Lula won.
Can we talk about this?
Why not?
YouTube says you can't talk about it.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
Oh my God. So then let's talk about that article from The Intercept, which is just basically telling us that the Department of Homeland Security has been secretly for years trying to govern information.
Again, this is so anti-constitution, should be illegal.
Of course.
I mean, we exceeded unwisely in September, after September 11th, 2001, the idea of surrendering basic liberties to a faceless department that shouldn't exist, the Department of Homeland Insecurity. And, you know, under a theory that they were going to protect us from foreign enemies.
Oh, they've said they've changed their mandate.
Yeah, when did they do that?
I don't know, but it was
mean,
unconstitutional in the first place.
This was me. Now, when back in the day, we would play dodgeball here. Now you can't. I don't think you can play dodgeball anymore.
It's got to be Dogeball now.
No, because in dodgeball, the whole
it
idea
hurts
was
people?
you try to knock the people down. Is what we used to do. Try to hit them in the face. with the
Right.
dodgeball.
It was a pretty
Can't do that stuff anymore.
good athletes harming nerds kind of game.
But I mean, when I was those little kids' age, and we had to wear button-down shirts. We didn't have these, collar shirts. This thing seemed gigantic to me as their age. It's probably.
Is it actual grass or no?
This
it's
no.
astroturf.
This was second grade. These kids are probably third or fourth grade. But
They look like
and
8
this
or
is
9.
this is after school, right? The school is definitely out at 4:10. This is an after-school program.
Oh, they're waiting for people to pick them up or
And
something?
we used to have, I remember the first snowball fight we had, man, was that great. It was like heavy, wet snow, or like pelting each other with it.
That's interesting that pool hall is still open. That thing's been there as long
That's where
as...
the teachers used to hang out.
I did a movie at NYU Film School in there.
That girl doesn't look very happy,
I didn't see that.
crying.
This is Grace Church, isn't
Yeah,
it?
this is where Lisa de Kooning and my brother and I were hanging out the day Kennedy was shot. Right here, sitting right here.
Wow. Oh, that's a nice little dog.
They're on their way after the.
Post office is still here.
Yeah.
This area, you have the Strand up here, but this area used to be filled with used bookstores. And now this is the old rectory where the minister would live.
Now, Charles, this Halloween store seems to be always here. It used to be just seasonal. I noticed really seemed to be far fewer people on Halloween. Your apartment is kind of an earshot of the parade.
Earshot. It's like where everyone.
But what's the report this year?
It wasn't
Bigger,
that noisy. It was
quieter?
a bit rainy.
Right.
And actually, the anti-vax people stole the show in the beginning.
What do you mean?
They were in the televised thing. They were, vamping about the vax on television, and I got some criticism for that. We passed 12th, I guess.
Yeah, no, I know. We sort of abandoned
the
the.
Moxie plan. I was there.
It's just a hotel that they had a party in 2 days ago,
Yeah, like
where he dressed as Baphomet.
weird, or like this person.
Definitely weird.
Not on Halloween, I might add. And like deciding to get dressed up like that,
I
not
don't
on
know
Halloween.
who is going to the Halloween store. Like that's like Macy's to some people.
So Clarissa loved Halloween.
I enjoy Halloween, but
I don't.
not shopping there during regular days. that aren't
Especially with young kids, I was terrified of Halloween. You know, what's going to happen? What kind of poison are they going to be given?
Halloween. Right.
Razor blades in the apples, that kind of stuff. You know?
Yeah, that's been done.
So we're up here.
I'm hearing some radio interference here.
Your famous hangout up here, Union Square.
Right.
Pretty sad. I was up doing something the other day. Actually, it might have been last Sunday. I was doing an errand at Midtown. I came back home, and I saw
It looked really good.
the guy who we saw when we were waiting to start the broadcast in Washington Square Park, the homeless guy. First, he hangs out in Union Square, and then he wakes up and he goes and he sleeps in Washington Square Park. See, this is an old, small bookstore. But
Charles, our viewers are still talking about the DHS.
yeah, the DHS, I mean, it should be
It's
DEAD.
unconstitutional for them to, because the number one argument, even when I was standing outside Twitter the other day and random New York dopes were coming up and saying what's going on, many people said, oh, well, it's a private company, it can do whatever they want.
That's not true.
And then when I told them, yes, but when the government tells them to do something and they do it, they become a government actor.
Well, no, the first issue is a private company cannot do whatever it wants. You can't say, I'm going to set up a private company that's going to be
But they
engaged
could say that people
in
named
drug
Jason
dealing.
aren't allowed to use the platform, and as arbitrary and crazy as that might be, they're allowed to do that. They could
Well,
say this is a
maybe.
Twitter platform for women only or trans only or whatever, and exclude you on that basis. What they're saying is if it's a private company, they don't have to
But you
adhere
can't
to the First Amendment.
you can't engage in criminal activity.
Correct.
Yeah.
You also can't be taking orders from the government and then say, well, we're just a private company doing whatever we want. And this is why you're not supposed to park in the crosswalk, so that when you back up and run people over.
There's a nice garbage pile over there.
Isn't it true that 4th Avenue is the shortest avenue in New York?
That I wouldn't know, Jason.
I believe it is. It just goes from like here to there.
Well, it goes further down a little bit
But
further.
that's I
But
think, the
reasonably short.
shortest.
I don't know about in New York, because that would be all of the 5 boroughs.
Avenue, though.
All 10 boroughs.
In Manhattan.
All
in
10
Manhattan.
boroughs, right?
Well, it's 14. Including Alaska and Canada.
And Spain.
Yes. Well, that's just a territory.
Somebody has put together a mock Democrat ad, which is what I was watching and laughing when you approached in the park.
Oh.
Of support Biden and cutting to all of his. He's really good with numbers. I got 2 words for you: made
Yeah.
in America. And then he's really articulate. And that thing when multiple times where he makes no freaking sense. Which way do you want to go, Kimosabe?
I guess let's just check out. Let's see what's going on in Union Square here. It seems like things are calming down.
Famous last words.
There's texting from the cops, of course. Busy doing nothing.
Yes.
Soon they'll be intimidating people, insulting crime victims, laughing in their faces.
Why not?
Well, all the best work that the police can do.
That's how they roll.
Now that was like PC Richard or something over there. It's out of business. Or Best Buy in the corner.
I forget what that was actually.
There was a Best Buy cell phone store at one
There's a
time.
Best Buy over there.
Well, no, it's right here behind us, but then they had that little annex as well, which didn't make a lot of sense. And then now it's closed. So let's see what we've got in terms of the wildlife.
Yeah.
There's just an alarming number of people just hanging out.
Feeding the pigeons. Oh, genius move.
Yeah.
Surprised they don't have people feeding the rats. You may feed the flying
I thought
rats. Feed the.
Eric Adams is now dedicated to killing the rats. Isn't he?
Yeah. Everybody knows I don't like rats.
Who knows that?
That's what he said.
But who does like rats?
I mean, that guy is really stupid.
He is uneducated. I mean,
Well, how about, did you see Sotomayor and the oral arguments about affirmative action? Did you hear about that?
I did not hear about that, but you remind me that the Supreme Court made another terrible decision where they overturned the circuit court saying that the mask mandates of New York were illegal. Supreme Court says, no, they're fine.
Well, the Supreme Court, there's an affirmative action case that is launched on behalf of Chinese and Asian students
Look at this, Charles.
who at Harvard and the University of North Carolina write bar testing.
Well, are you a lawyer when you complete that?
Probably. So Tucker was all on this, and I'm sure he'll get in trouble for it, but talking about Sotomayor, who's a summa graduate of Princeton and a graduate of Yale Law School. In the, you have the interrogatories and you have the justices asking questions, and she said that something like, they had her voice in a transcript. She said that everybody knows in America that racial discrimination is de jure, by law. And
what?
Right, and she's trying to be pompous. It's not difficult for her to be pompous, throwing around the Latin. And Alito said, no, you mean de facto. She said, no, de jure.
What's the difference?
Big. De jure means by law. So she's saying by law.
And de facto means not by law,
custom,
but it actually is,
by custom, in effect. And so, right. And so she's saying, by law, everybody understands, I'm on the Supreme Court, that racial discrimination is legal. And this is a member of the Supreme Court saying something that's ridiculous. Stupid. And she's been on the court for a long time. And
she's
so
been stupid for an even longer
right,
time.
And so Tucker was saying she's a prima facie argument against affirmative action.
It's a Pomeranian, dude.
That's nice.
Exactly. Yeah. This dog has papers, Charles.
Impressive.
Market zero.
Could vote. The dog will be voting on the 8th.
That lady was adamant that it was a Pomeranian.
I know,
and she
obviously
obviously
paid good money for it.
Hasn't seen The Big Lebowski.
She probably has.
So Sotomayor is going crazy.
So, but Tucker's.
Should we go to the farmer's market?
Well, I figure we go back around.
Oh, okay.
So so Tucker's on a tear of like, does affirmative action even work? And he has this person, Vivek Ramaswamy, who's a very smart person, I think a billionaire.
I like that last name.
A young guy, making the case, the American Indian community is not necessarily at all in favor of affirmative action. So he's making the case, if it works so well, why do you need to take somebody, give them the benefit of that in boarding school, then give them the benefit of that in college, and then graduate school, and then
right, because it's obviously not working throughout.
Exactly, that's what he said. And
you should need just one boost.
Right. And it's basically just fundamentally wrong.
Because it's boosting the underqualified.
Right, and here Clarence Thomas was reacting to some of the comments and this idiot was making, saying, we need to have this, to have the separate but equal and whatever. And Thomas said, that sounds suspiciously like arguments I've heard about justifying segregation.
60s, right.
Exactly. And then Alito dissed, what's her name, Elizabeth Warren, when they got in the subject of, when you're filling out your application, how do you know the person is being truthful about what their ancestry is? I mean, what if you identify...
Elizabeth Warren said that?
Alito said that. What if I'm aware of somebody who said they identified as being Native American.
Right.
It's like, what do we say about this? But I think...
Well, wait a minute, though, because that's another logic problem. How is it that you can identify as being a man or a woman, but not being of another...
Well, and then Vivek
ethnicity.
went through the whole long thing, and Tucker was saying, we're using affirmative action now to discriminate against talented Asians who are scoring top of the charts on MCATs and not getting into medical school, but you have no such
Charles,
thing.
You want to buy some honey?
You have no such thing, Andrew's honey. You got no such program in the NBA or the NFL.
Right. I'd like to be a starting center for the Knicks.
I am. I mean, I'm going in.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the Jets.
He's
suck.
a 50-year-old short Jewish guy. Let's get in there.
That's right. At least
it's racist.
The color commentary would be funny.
I just don't know anything about bat. It's like, all right, there's that orange ball again. It's going up and down. Oh, it's in the net. Tall guy just threw the ball.
Take Jason, pick him up, and then you could dunk.
Yeah. Now, what is this?
City Harvest. Rescuing food service. Oh, come on, guys. Virtue signaling, the Bloomberg shirts, saying we're giving away.
Here's the mitzvah tank.
Joe Biden in the mitzvah tank.
They should send a bunch of mitzvah tanks to Ukraine. And they'd be like, tank warfare.
Tanks. Yeah. So yeah, this Biden administration came apart at the seams a long time ago. Crime is epic across America. In particular, in Democratic-controlled cities.
Yes.
Excuse me, are you Jewish?
Yeah, they heard you say that, Charles.
Yeah.
Please,
Gesundheit.
are you an asshole? Just asking. I'm surveying people on the street.
Back?
You look like an asshole.
Yeah.
This guy, let's ask. Excuse me, are you an asshole? Oh yeah, okay, thanks. I could tell. You want to go wrap tefillin?
You want to go get Butter Emails hat? Right here.
Butter.
Wakanda forever. Get one of those hats.
That could be like, I can't believe it's not butter.
That's right.
Butter emails.
I hear you're going out to a great restaurant tonight. You're going to PLNT?
To what?
PLNT, the vegan place?
Oh, I don't know
For a
about
nice
that.
PLNT steak?
Nah,
Ixnay on that?
no.
Which way do you want to go? You want to go across 14th or you want to go back to the park? And
No, let's just go across 14th. I think everybody has I'm a little annoyed that this turning around function has stopped,
All right.
but we'll just leave it
We'll
rolling.
stay on this side of the street for a change because we generally go the other. Get your hand off the
Yeah, I
road.
was going to say, that's a little bit weird, that dude.
It's like, we're from the morality police here. You can't do that.
Yeah,
I saw somebody doing that the other day. I mean, I suppose as a younger person, I might have done that, but I mean, he was cupping the cheeks of his girlfriend and like squeezing them and lifting her up on like
That's
42nd
a bit
and
much.
5th. It's like, dude, get a room. It's
Yeah.
disrespectful. But, and spanking her,
Really?
yeah, in public,
My God. People are into all kinds of stuff, Charles.
I guess. Yeah, we've got scaffoldings or us.
So, I mean, what other stories are we missing here?
I'm
Let's
sure we're missing a
see
lot. I
what
mean, Biden's
RT
going to
is
speak
saying.
tonight. We got the red lights out, I'm sure. He's speaking, addressing the seriousness of, the MAGA, evil MAGA crowd.
So Elon Musk tweeted that his goal is to make Twitter the most accurate source of information on Earth without regard to political affiliation. That's what he says.
Good luck.
Well, I can tell you that a number of viewers sent me, I didn't realize when I posted that thumbnail of him yesterday that it had Baphomet. It looked like just some scaly, weird armor to me.
Right.
But then somebody pointed out that it had Baphomet on it. And I do find it quite strange that Elon Musk, I said yesterday, I've seen a lot of people wearing heavy metal band shirts and things and Rush shirts that have satanic symbols on them that I think people don't really realize or think about. But I think Elon Musk is pretty savvy in terms of literature and pop culture, and everybody's communicating with him on Twitter. There's no way he doesn't know what that means.
Right.
And so why would he wear that? I get it when he's trolling people with jokes like "let that sink in," whatever. But what was the purpose of dressing himself in the armor of Baphomet?
I don't know.
And coupled with what I've learned from the incident last night, I may be souring on my formerly positive impression of Elon Musk. And actually, it's not just what happened last night. It's, as you were saying, what Cat Turd brought up. I've been feeling the same way. When he first began discussing this Twitter acquisition, he said that as long as people
Guy
say
to your
things
left.
within the context of the law, it should be allowed. And that is allowing the law to dictate how Twitter works rather than allowing Twitter to become an abstraction layer between us, the people, and the government that's enforcing the law, which is what it is.
Right.
Now he's talking about some kind of council that's going to include, fringe elements with fringe ideas that don't seem to be compatible with this notion of, let's just strictly go by the law and the Constitution.
Well,
And
I'm
so-
sort of in favor of having, it's not up to me, of course, but to have a Twitter that's, you set your preferences. If you want it to be G-rated bullshit, then you have that. If you want it to be, potentially full-on adult content or whatever, you say, okay, you can have that too.
Well, that's the other thing that they're saying now is that, so he never came out with the $20. Somebody else said
$8,
$20.
he's saying now.
What?
$8 per month.
Well, but I'm saying, everyone's saying, oh, he wanted $20. He never said $20. A report said $20.
Right.
And then they were just sort of monitoring how the public responded to the 20. And he sort of said, how about 8? Stephen King was upset about it.
And AOC was saying,
Well, who cares?
That's a rich billionaire asking for $8 a month for free speech. AOC is so She jumped the shark so long ago. She's like bleached bones.
Well, she's another one who's just pretty. She's educated, but not that
I
intelligent.
don't know that she's
I mean,
educated.
she's been to college, so
That
she's
means
educated
nothing.
somewhat.
I have people I know who've been to college and you can't read.
Well, but I'm saying there's a distinction that I make between people who are inherently
And
intelligent
I'm talking about people who went to Yale
and
can't
possibly uneducated versus people who are educated but still stupid. That's AOC. And the point I'm getting at is obviously the speech is free. It's utilizing the $44 billion platform that costs $8 a month.
read. Right.
And I don't know, I'm beginning to think that Laura Loomer was right about this all along, that Twitter is a shit pile that should burn in hell. I asked her when Elon Musk first said he was going to buy it, will you go back to Twitter? And, she said,
How is she, by the way?
Where's that back? Who, Laura?
Yeah.
I think 20.
How is she? I didn't ask
Oh,
how old. I would never ask how old a woman.
Busy. I haven't spoken to her, the road. I haven't called her since I got back from the road trip.
Subway emergency, keep clear. How much trouble have you got to be in to
Come
be
out the
coming
top
out
of
of
the
here
subway.
from the subway, right? I
Or
mean,
maybe that's to go down in there in the event of an emergency.
I'm just saying the subway runs up and down 6th, right? So here you are all the way on the side. I mean, what? And then you got the nice garbage across the street.
Yeah, I don't know. I never noticed that
I
before.
know. That's why I bring it up. It's my job, Jason, to bring things to your attention.
Oh, Charles, we are officially
2 hours.
now into 1 hour 47 minutes.
I know, it's a
exceeding
record.
Our old battery limitation due to Kaizen,
Technological
the new
wizardry.
equipment, and this deserves a thank you to the viewer sponsors who
Right.
make this show and all of the constant technological advancements possible. Thank you, everyone,
Teleportation station.
for going to subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. I'm in the process of resolving a problem with Odyssey. I had spoken to people about a plan that I had for Odyssey the other day that I need to put on temporary hold. I'm going to be reconfiguring that, and I spoke to Odyssey tech support this morning, so I think I'm getting that sorted out. But of course, on rumble.com and odyssey.com, people can follow for free Crowdsource the Truth 7, Crowdsource the Truth 8,
Sunday
the
with
Sunday
Charles.
with Charles YouTube channel, Getter, all kinds of different platforms. And
The Smoke and Beer Shop.
well, that's pretty smart. Although
How can, I mean, there's nobody in that place. How does that make any money?
probably nighttime. But drinking and smoking weed at the same time is a terrible idea.
I just think, I call bullshit on the whole place. I mean, that's a lot of money went into that establishment.
Maybe laundering.
So this is a new building here. Across the street, another new one, and I think
yeah.
they're tearing that one down over there to make yet another new one. Who's going to buy this?
that's what I'm
Ukraine and
thinking.
Israeli apartheid. Israel, what? The sign, it's Ukraine and Israel. CIA Supreme. Now, Ukraine lost
130,000 times.
boom of gloom about to get us killed.
About to get us nuked.
That's Buttigieg. He's out here,
He's writing
writing
little
that shit,
positive messages
taking out
of
his Rhodes
affirmation.
Scholar notebook.
Yeah, I mean that looks like extremely expensive apartments to me, Charles.
But look how noisy it is here.
Well, maybe it's double windows, but also look at that fancy.
But you get out.
chandelier.
The Salvation Army's not going anywhere. I mean, I suppose if you're a Taco Bell and McDonald's lover, you're happy. Right next door.
Salvation Navy.
But this street, as long as I've been conscious of what New York City was like, which is now 60 odd years, this street has always been a wreck.
Yeah.
Where are the city planners? And fire them all.
Well, I really do wonder what Eric Adams does from
Why
day to day.
would you worry about that? It's like,
Because he's doing nothing and the city is suffering. But like literally day to day, what is he doing?
he's, speak to his staff, what expensive restaurant to go and get
Right.
a free meal.
Didn't he go to some restaurant like 14 times in 1 week or something?
I wouldn't be surprised. He's employing each of the other's girlfriends or whatever that was. Dan and John's Wing.
They like the Buffalo Bills. Maybe Kathy Hochul has something to do with this. She was like so energetically defending the billions of dollars being spent on the Buffalo Bills, like a stadium, I guess.
Well, her husband's profiting from it.
Oh my God, they didn't even go into that in the debate. What do you mean? Like what?
Well, every one of these stadiums, George Bush and the people behind him profited from the Texas Rangers Stadium. I mean,
So this is all standard scams.
Yeah, it's exactly. Nice garbage pile in front of the Salvation
They're
Army.
going to salvage all that.
That's the holy garbage. Holy garbage, Batman. Black Lives Matter.
At the Y.
Yeah.
How come they don't yet acknowledge? I mean, don't even people who support
Fraud
Black Lives
matters.
Matter
All fraud
hate it
matters.
that girl stole all that money and bought mansions and is
It's
triggered
pathetic.
when you tell her, hey, that's theft, and she's like, ooh, that's racist.
Remember, and Candace Owen shows up at her house, and
Oh, really?
oh yeah, there's
I
a
don't-
documentary. It was
Oh.
hilarious. And she's,
What
And
happened?
she instantly pretends that she's about to be assaulted, and they're threatening her home, and
Right.
she's not safe because that Candace Owens, I don't think is particularly large. I mean, or threatening.
She's taller than me. She's not threatening, but I was surprised how tall she was when I met her.
in heels. I think
Nah,
she's
that's true.
5'4".
You're right. She was wearing high heels.
Right, and you stopped doing that, I think.
But I mean, Candace Owens is like a triple threat for them because she's like one of the
She's very articulate.
I was gonna say like on kind of like quick speaking when she's in Congress and stuff. Like she can think on her feet.
Right. Which
She looks great. She presents great.
well, she has logic
And
on
she's
her
black,
side.
so they can't accuse her of being racist.
Yeah, they can.
Well, right. She's a white supremacist and a Nazi,
She's
according to
conservative,
Congress.
so she's not black. Right? You ain't black. Remember? It's what Biden
Oh,
said.
and she didn't vote for Biden,
Remember,
right.
Biden said that
I know.
to Charlemagne the God. You ain't black.
How is that not racist?
Charlemagne the God is pretty black. As
Looks
far
black
as I
to
can
me.
tell. Very black.
I'm not a biologist.
I actually went here with my kids.
What, the eyebrow place?
Yeah, right. Shama Mama.
Oh.
A taste of Georgia, the country Georgia. It's not bad, actually.
Oh, wow.
Surprisingly good. So I'm amazed it's still in business.
Well, I would have thought that was Indian with the name.
It's not.
They should have Warnock in their Taste of Georgia.
Yes. Raphael Warnock is going down in flames, as is Stacey Abrams.
I saw some, like, preacher going against
Oh, Warnock said disaster.
Herschel Walker.
Oh, yeah, they'll always find a fire. But anyway, what's his name? Al Sharpton is the minister. I mean,
Well, but this guy was like, oh, Herschel Walker has been told what to do by a white man forever. And it's like,
just
wait a minute,
stop.
isn't that racist? You're saying a black guy can't be successful on his own?
it's not working. It's not working.
I don't know. This crowd was going crazy on the video. Should we?
I'm
is
going to
this-
leave you here. I
Yeah, okay. Very good, Charles. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Whoops. See, this is weird when it doesn't do the turnaround, but yeah, it's all right. Please become a sponsor. Check out last night's incredibly disturbing incident. I'm gonna be doing. I might do. I don't know if I'm up for this tonight, but I got to do a counter lawfare report. There's a lot in that video that I can tell people aren't getting on the first viewing. I didn't absorb it when it was happening. Check it out on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Thanks to all of the viewers who are already sponsoring the show. Thank you, Charles, for a great episode.
Thank you.
And have a great evening, everybody.